Greetings and salutations one and all. Welcome to the night shift. It's Healthy Love Night right here on kevinstew.com. How you doing? I want to say big ups to each and everyone locked in right now. Those on TuneIn Radio, the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Across the pond, One Harmony Radio. Top of the morning to you guys over there in the UK. I want to say big ups to all those locked in on WGLRO, home of the Donnie Walker Morning Show, taking from the streets to the streets, touching from Detroit to Denmark and all points in between. Big ups to you guys over there, those on PEMGTV.com. Welcome back to the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com. How you doing? And of course, those right here at the home of the night shift, the DJ Kevin Stew, kevinstew.com. Glad to have you. Couldn't do it without you. You have my word, I wouldn't even try. Kicking it off with a little 5-star kill. It's called Symptoms. Say welcome to those in the stew pot. Welcome to those on Facebook Live. I want to say thank you to my sponsors of this segment of the show, Pulse Media Group. When being in the moment is priceless, get them a link. Pulse Media Group provides innovative streaming and recording solutions. And not only that though, they do everything you see right here on kevinstew.com. So you have a website, you're looking for a place to host it, you want to create a website, talk to Pulse Media Group. You want streaming services on your website, you want to do something like what you see right here on kevinstew.com, give them a call. If you want to take it a step further and you want to have your own broadcasting station, or you have a church and you want to be streaming live all your events, give them a call, 754-999-6020. Tell them you heard about them on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. You can also visit them online, pulseemg.com. Thank you to Pulse Media Group. Yeah, so I kind of got into this teaser on Facebook Live thing. So I come on for a few minutes on Facebook Live, but it's not the whole show. So do bear in mind that in a little while it is goodbye Facebook Live and all kevinstew.com. So if you're tuned in on Facebook Live, just understand that it's only temporary. Go to kevinstew.com if you want to go there from now, all the better. One less place for me to monitor for messages. So yeah, you can get in touch. 773-789-STEW, number to call, number to text. You can also WhatsApp. You can Skype me if you want to get in touch, kevin.stew. Of course, you can email. You can go to the website and connect with me from there, kevinstew.com. Really easy. At the bottom of the page, there's a connect with me section. You put your comments, you send your message. Easy. 1-2 comes on my email, and I check my email regularly. I don't have a choice. All right, so you have multiple ways to get in touch. So tonight we are looking at how to brighten up with vitamin B12 and vitamin D. And you wouldn't really think about it too much or too often, but for those of you who saw my post about tonight's show, you don't really think about it that much. But then somebody paints that picture where if you're depressed, you could end up being antisocial. But we're asked to be antisocial now to maintain good health. And that can cause depression. So when you're depressed, you could also end up not eating right. So what do you eat in order to not be depressed? And that's how we came back to the vitamins B12 and vitamin D and getting enough of those minerals in our systems to help to keep us on the brighter side. Because if you've never been depressed, or you don't know anybody who has ever been depressed, it's a pretty dark place. It's gloomy in depression land. So up to 2.5% of children and 8.3% of adolescents suffer from depression. Now, that might not sound like a whole lot of people, but you're talking about, if you're looking at on the higher scale from with the 8.3% of adolescents, it's almost 1 in every 10. So that's not that far-fetched when you think about it. Now, depression is a condition that is associated with significant complications later in life, including an increased risk of suicide, substance abuse, physical diseases, and problems with work, academic, and psychological functioning. Funny enough, depression is not one of the things that people often associate with illness, as in physical diseases. But the mind is such a powerful part of the body that your mind not being well can seriously affect how well your body is. It is believed that both genetic and environmental factors play a role in why some children develop depression, and increasing attention has been placed on the role of dietary factors and nutrients such as vitamin D, which is most times and ideally obtained by way of sun exposure. Now, when I was a child, being outside playing was the thing to do. You get punishment by being kept inside. How's your punishment? You stay inside. No, apparently it's the reverse. Punishment is you go outside. um, in addition to that, though, one carbon metabolism, which includes vitamin B12, folate, and homocysteine, and which plays a role in many biological processes and maintaining cellular homeostasis, has been investigated for its role in psychiatric disorders, including depression in adults. Yeah, we often forget that these children grow up. Yeah, they become us, adults. After exploring the link further, researchers from Ordu University in Turkey revealed that low vitamin B12 and D levels, along with increased homocysteine, may play a role in depression among children and adolescents. The study involved 89 children and 89 children and adolescents with depression, along with 43 subjects without depression to serve as controls. The volunteers completed testing for childhood depression and anxiety and had their levels of folate, vitamin B12, homocysteine, and vitamin D measured. While there was no significant difference in folate levels between the groups, 11.23% of those with depression had low levels of folate. Further, among the depression group, vitamin B12 and vitamin D levels were clearly low. As for how this might actually contribute to depression, the researchers explained, quote, one carbon metabolism has a basic role in methylation, in methylation processes of neurotransmitters, proteins, and membrane phospholipids. It'll tie up your tongue sometimes. Additionally, it is necessary for DNA synthesis. With vitamin B12 and folate deficiency, methylation processes are hindered and neurotransmitter levels fall. Also linked to vitamin B12 and folate deficiency, there is an increase in the levels of extremely neurotoxic metabolite of homocysteine. Both vitamin B12 and folate have previously been described as antidepressant nutrients. Folate, found in dark leafy greens like spinach, avocados, and other fresh vegetables, is involved in your body's production of mood regulating neurotransmitters. In one study, people who consumed the most folate had a lower risk of depression than those who ate the least. I guess it only stands to reason. Vitamin B12 is found only in animal foods, such as grass-fed meat, eggs, dairy, and wild-caught seafood. And such vegetarians and vegans are especially susceptible to B12 deficiency. And this is one likely reason why vegetarians may be nearly twice as likely to suffer from depression as meat eaters. Strange, but true. even after adjusting for variables like job status, family history, and the number of children. It is widely known that people with a vitamin B12 deficiency are at an increased risk of depression, which could be, in part, due to resulting alterations in the level of DNA methylation in the brain, leading to neurologic impairment. Vitamin B12 also helps regulate homocysteine levels, and increased homocysteine is linked to B12 deficiency as well as depression. So, let's go back to our friends, the vegans and vegetarians, and our friends, the meat eaters. Who knew that vegans and vegetarians are twice as likely to commit suicide? Well, I guess this is where the meat eaters would say, well, I don't get to eat meat. I want to kill myself too. But on a scientific level, we can see how this actually works out. If you're looking at vitamins and minerals and the roles that they play, especially in our brain health and our psychological health. Considering the extensive research linking depression with low levels of vitamin B12 and folate, researchers with the MRC Neuropsychiatric Research Laboratory in Epsom, Surrey, in the UK, suggested that folate and vitamin B12 should be considered in the treatment of depression. On the basis of current data, we suggest that oral doses of both folic acid, about 800 micrograms daily, and vitamin B12, about 1,000 micrograms daily, should be tried to improve treatment outcome in depression. Folic acid is the synthetic version of folate, or vitamin B9. And while it may have a place in depression treatment, the best way to increase your levels is to eat foods rich in folate. So now we're going back to our greens. The asparagus, the avocados, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, spinach, your leafy greens, or, well, I guess broccoli doesn't appear that leafy, but it's your greens. As for why folate and vitamin B12 are so important for mental health, they say folate and vitamin B12 are major determinants of one carbon metabolism, in which the adenosylmethionine. I don't know how many of you are familiar with it. It has as many letters as the alphabet contains. Just that one word. It's adenosylmethionine. These scientists are cruel. And that's probably why they call it SAM for short. But in one carbon metabolism, SAM is formed. Now, SAM donates methyl groups that are crucial for neurological function. Increased plasma homocysteine is a functional marker of both folate and vitamin B12 deficiency. Increased homocysteine levels are found in depressive patients. So, when they run all their tests that they can run as it relates to the levels for individuals who suffer from depression, they found, okay, you have increased homocysteine levels. With these increased homocysteine levels, you find decreased levels of vitamin B12. So it only stands to reason that the two are connected. You just kind of do the math. Or you do the association, or the relative association. And thank goodness for doctors that can say these words off the tip of their tongues and the top of their heads. Good evening to you guys over there in the stew pot. Hello, Dr. J-Luv. Tonight, I'm actually talking about one of the things that you pretty much love to talk about, staying bright and chirpy, and using vitamins to do it. Vitamins B12 and vitamin D, and recognizing their importance. Now, funny enough, depressed children had remarkably high homocysteine levels. Now, whether that is actually surprising to you or not, yeah, food is medicine. And we should let medicine be our food. The connection between low vitamin B12 and increased homocysteine levels is actually notable. There's a featured study which found remarkably high homocysteine levels in children and adolescents with depression. Increased homocysteine increases the flow of calcium within cells through the NMDA, the N-methyl D aspartic acid. There's a reason why these things are abbreviated. So increased calcium flow within cells through the NMDA receptor activation pathway. Within the cell, oxidative stress increases and apoptotic signals are activated. Increased homocysteine causes DNA damage. That's not a good thing. Mitochondrial dysfunction also occurs, and endoplasmic reticulum stress. The researchers also noted that suggesting this is likely one mechanism behind homocysteine's depression connection. Just one. What foods can I get vitamin B12 from? Oh, the ones that we've been mentioning, your green leafy vegetables. Supplementing can't be too bad. It can't be too bad at all. Dr. J-Luv, feel free to call in at any time. Now, so your broccoli, your spinach, your what am I leaving out? Broccoli, spinach, avocados, asparagus. So your greens tend to be rich in your folates. Bobby Sinclair, big ups to you. Welcome to the show, bro. It's been a minute. How you been? Oh, I'm still on Facebook Live, aren't I? Yeah. Now, separate research has linked higher homocysteine levels with increased rates of depression and anxiety among 12 and 13-year-old boys in Taiwan. Higher levels of homocysteine, along with significantly lower levels of vitamin B12 and vitamin D, are also associated with other mental health conditions, including obsessive compulsive disorder, in which it is believed to play a causative role. Homocysteine is an amino acid in your body, and blood obtained primarily from meat consumption. Vitamins B6, B9, and B12 help convert homocysteine into methionine, which is a building block for proteins. I'm doing well so far, right, Dr. J? Hello? Why am I not hearing Dr. J? All right, I should have her on the line. I'll make sure that I do. Dr. J, are you there?
I'm here. I'm just now hearing you.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you now. I
Okay, good.
just love when these devices decide to do their own thing.
You know, they frequently do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so it goes.
All right. So I'm doing well so far, right? With vitamins
Yes, you
B6, 9,
absolutely
and
are.
12 being building blocks for proteins.
Yes, very
Yeah.
good.
So
Good, doing great, I must say.
I thank you. I do some research and I present other people's information. That makes me sound a little bit smart.
Make you sound smart.
Ju- ju-
That's a good thing. That's
just
a
a
good
little
thing.
bit. Just a little bit.
Just a wee bit. Just a wee bit.
Now, conversely with that, when you increase your intake of B6, folate, B12, your homocysteine levels decrease. And
Yes, I do.
when the homocysteine levels decrease, then there's less chance of depression.
Less chance of depression, less chance of stress, oxidative stress, less chance of blood pressure issues, less chance of circulatory issues, heart issues. The homocysteine is known to be one of those high stress compounds that if it's found in the body in high levels, then you're going to have, unfortunate consequences, usually.
But all right, so here it is. Our children typically don't like eating their veggies.
Mm-hmm.
And this is your green leafy veggies, your aspartame, your asparagus, your avocado. I was about to say pear. Your avocados, your spinach, broccoli.
Mm-hmm.
These are all, I guess we can call them happy foods.
Yeah, they're happy foods, but it's also very difficult to get children to eat them. So one of the ways you do it is to trick them. So you put your dark green leafy vegetables, like your spinach is an easy one to camouflage in a smoothie.
Okay.
Now, normally, I wouldn't recommend juicing vegetables and fruits together all the time. It's not ideal in terms of food combination and proper digestion. However, if you need to get those nutrients in some kind of way, then if you got to mix it in with some strawberries and some, the heavy berries usually, because their taste will supersede the taste of the vegetable. And spinach is one of those that doesn't have a very strong aftertaste.
Mm-hmm.
If you blend kale is very high in nutrients, but if you blend kale, a child is going to be able to tell that kale is in this juice. If you blend spinach, very mild taste, and they're getting all the nutrients. So I like to blend kale. If I'm doing kale, I blend it with pineapple, a very strong fruit, strong
Gotcha.
flavored fruit.
Yeah.
With maybe a little bit of lemon, and you blend it up nicely. And usually this pineapple is sweet enough and tangy enough that it takes the edge off the taste. And also, the high vitamin C assists iron absorption with the kale. So, because kale is high in iron too. So you get a double whammy when you put, one of those high vitamin C fruits, blending it together and drinking it. So making it simple is easy, is actually the better thing. One fruit that has a very strong flavor usually is going to make it easier for children to take. And some adults too, because some adults don't like the taste of green vegetables either,
Well, that too is true.
It's a hard sell. It's a hard sell for a lot of people.
Funny enough, I didn't really start eating veggies until I got older.
Yeah, I find that there's a lot of things we like to eat when we get older. Because our parents beat it in us at some point. And then when you get older, you're like, okay, maybe I can do this. Because I mean, in my house, would be like, oh my God, are we going to turn green? Because we ate color like it was going out of style. And sometimes I'd be like, oh my God, color again, Jesus. I'm like, oh my God, seriously. But, I
I
didn't
know you
realize what
can't
my
get
mother was
enough.
doing, but it's good. No, listen to me. I hunt down color like, whoa, I planted in my backyard. Granted, the iguana seems to have eaten the seeds. I don't have any color coming up. A pumpkin. I didn't plant pumpkin. But it's what happens when you compost. But I don't have any color going. But if I can't get color in the supermarket, it has to be a proper looking color. It can't be marasme looking. It has to be nice, healthy, fresh, big leaves, big stems. So when you cut it, you feel like, yeah, me eat some color today. But
Right.
I hunt it down now. I hunt it, and it's so much so that I have bags of frozen, stripped, and cut up callaloo in my freezer. So when I get it in abundance, I cut it up and freeze it so that at any given time, if I feel like I want some callaloo today, I can just go and get some callaloo and steam it. If I don't have it ready to eat, I have it nice and fresh and frozen. Fresh, flash frozen, fresh.
Right.
And I know where it came from. It's not bottled. It's not packaged with any preservatives. It's just I just cut it up and put it in a bag and froze it. So that works for me. So and then I actually really enjoy callaloo now with nothing in it. Doesn't have to have saltfish. Just steam. I just steam it. Sometimes I steam it with some bok choy because I actually love bok choy too. Nice flavor. So those things, and my mother used to make these things, and I'm like, when I was growing up, I did not like that. I ate it because you have to eat it or nothing else. You're gonna get nothing else.
Well, and
Like now
that
with
too is one
newfangled
of the
cereal.
differences with us growing up back then
Yes,
and kids
you
growing up
one
now.
pot
They get
soup.
options.
Yeah. Oh no, there was no option. You
Right.
either ate what was good before you or you're dead hungry. Those
Exactly.
are the options.
Exactly.
Eat it or eat nothing, and you weren't going to get a piece of cake or nothing to stand and stop up your belly. No, you better eat what is put in front of you.
No. Right.
So those things taught us a little bit of discipline, but it was a good thing because those taste receptors were developing, and it was there all along. So that by the time you get older, you're like, hey, I need to eat this now. It's not hard to do because you were doing it from your child. So I have to thank my dearly departed mom for instilling those good nutritional habits. From even when I didn't realize that was what she was doing, but it was helpful because now I can just eat greens. I remember seeing her do certain things, and I find myself going out. I have a moringa tree. I actually sell moringa seeds with dried leaves, and I go outside and I'll flip moringa leaves and I'll actually eat them just like that. Pick it off the tree and just eat it just like that.
You know what you're talking for?
And
Just eat it.
it's organic. It's growing in my backyard. Hello. My body not spraying nothing back there. There's no chemicals. There's no rainfall and wash it off. That is as much people. Listen, my immune system needs to work, so I need to give it some work to do. So I just go outside and I pick my moringa and I eat it just like that. Sometimes I'll make tea with it. I dry it and make the teas. And people love the tea. They're organic, sun-dried, hand packaged, and I can't keep that. Like people seriously, because of all the benefits of moringa, which is also a very high nutrition food,
Right.
high in vitamins, nutrients, vitamins, minerals. It's really good for people with hypertension, stress, boosting the immune system. It's a natural diuretic. It's great for women with hormonal issues. I didn't even realize that it was helping me with that until like, wait a second.
Something has
this is
changed.
good. I didn't realize
Right.
something has changed there. Like
Yeah.
this is working great for me. Not realizing that drinking the moringa so often
Right.
was actually helping. Some of those fantastic adaptogen molecules that just really helps you with a whole host of issues, and it's because of all of the phytochemicals and such that are included with the other nutrients and minerals and vitamins.
No, you just touched on something that, well, before I touch on that, let me say goodbye to these people over here on Facebook Live. Thank you all for tuning in. Jump on over to kevinstew.com and jump into the stew pot where we keep things bubbling. I told you, I only come on Facebook Live just for a brief moment to let you all know that I still exist, and come on over to kevinstew.com. So see you later,
Okay.
FB Live.
There you go.
All right.
Bye.
So for okay, cool. You mentioned your immune system needs to work. In these times when it's all about isolation. And funny enough that I was so glad to come across this information talking about depression. And as soon as you talk about depression, you think being isolated. Now, we're told that we need to isolate in order to stay healthy. Now, that is causing depression in and of itself because we're social beings. Hence, the talk about vitamin B12 and vitamin D and its importance in helping to alleviate the potential for that happening, especially in our children.
Yes.
Now, you mentioned your immune system need to do some work. When we are isolated, we're, as they put it, socially distant. Instead of just calling it what it is, going into isolation.
Right.
How much work, how much less work is the immune system doing at that point? And could it actually be counterproductive?
It can, and here's how you're going to have to manage this, because this is a delicate line to walk.
Yeah.
You want the immune system to work. How does the immune system work? The only way that something works and gets to develop is by stressing it. Okay?
Right.
You stress the system by challenging it. So you introduce what we call antigens. These are, bacteria, viruses, etc., that are pathogenic. They cause disease. You expose the body to them. Now, the more that granted, we're not saying go out and expose yourself to COVID. We don't want that.
Right.
But my point is just to prove the point. In order for the immune system to develop, you have to really be exposed to bugs. Just think of a child. Baby's born. They're at home with mommy and parents, mommy, daddy, grandparents, and, very close family. So they're introduced to a very small, very select group of microorganisms that could possibly cause them some kind of infection. When they go to school, they are sick every day. Why? Because they're exposed now to a whole different group of organisms that can cause them illness. And they get sick, they recover, and they develop immunity. That is a natural way for the immune system to develop. It's like lifting weights for the immune system. You go outside, you get exposed to something, you get a little bit sick, you develop immunity, and you move on. If your immune system is functioning well, that is the way it's supposed to operate. The problem is with this new virus, we don't know. We don't have any idea how it's going to respond, how your body is going to respond to it, because one is an unstable virus. Two, it's novel. It hasn't been in the lexicon of bacterial infections or viral infections for a very long time. So to the point where the herd immunity isn't there yet. So it can affect every person completely differently, in addition to the fact that it's mutating at an alarming rate, right? It's one virus today, it's something completely different next week.
Right.
They're saying
as
that strains are different from one country to the next, as viruses go naturally. But this one, because it's an RNA virus, is even more so, right? So it's very unstable. Again, very difficult to develop a vaccine because it is highly unstable. So when you're exposed to different viruses, bacteria, etc., on a regular basis, your body develops the immunity naturally.
Right.
If you're not exposed to anything, and if you're an adult, you've had quite a bit of exposure. You've traveled, you've been out of the area where you normally live. I mean, come on, you're going to have natural exposure. If you now lock yourself away and have no exposure, which is probably what we really want, because we don't want too many people to get exposed to COVID, because right now, again, it is new. It is new to our species. So our responses are wide and varied. We seem to be getting a handle on how to treat it once somebody's infected, because you see the death rates have actually started to decrease. But the infection rates are just as high. And again, we don't know how people will react. We don't know what's happening. This young man, this Broadway actor, 41 years old, just died yesterday or day before. And I mean, he went through it. He got it early in New York, and he had to have a leg amputated, had multiple strokes, because again, there's a circulatory component to this thing.
And you have underlying factors.
He had none. He was fully healthy, which is even more scary. Yeah, he had no underlying health conditions, no known ones. There may have been something latent there, maybe had a genetic predisposition. We don't know, and we will never know at this point.
Right.
But the fact is, he was healthy, fully healthy. All his blood values, all his normal indicators were normal, right? Everything that they could have checked for was normal. This guy was on Broadway. These people have to dance and sing. You know how much cardiovascular strength that, right? You have to have some major lung capacity because you have to run up and down and sing and dance and do all these things. So the fact that he was able to do that and do it well for so long meant he had to have a certain level of physical health. He was used to ride. He was very active outdoors guy. And boom, here we go. He gets COVID and it's bad. Right? It's not, I mean, he gets taken down in a big way, really big way. And it is very scary for so many of us some who have underlying health conditions, whether you have one or not. You know, the fact that this healthy person was taken down in this way is alarming. And it's enough to make you pause and say, okay, I need to do what I can do to prevent myself from getting this thing. And boost yourself up as much as you can because it's airborne. So at some point, you're going to be exposed.
Right.
You can't completely, you can't lock yourself away forever. You're going to get some kind of exposure, some level of exposure. The trick is now that your immune system is strong so that by the time you're exposed, hopefully, you're able to fight it. I mean, people are still getting it and getting very, very sick,
Yes.
Very, very ill. It is still happening. I mean, yes, there are positive asymptomatic cases, but people are getting really sick. And we're not hearing about a lot of them, but there are some people out there who are really sick. There's some people in a couple of groups that I know that it's getting closer and closer to home. You understand? So I'm thinking, okay, this, please don't think it's not a serious thing. It is. But the point is, and this one young lady who contracted it a couple of weeks ago, a week or two ago, said some people came to her house who said they were negative, and it turns out that they had actually tested positive and they knew. And they came to her house anyway, and her husband have now contracted, and she's very ill. Could barely breathe. She actually made a live video.
And that's how the fight started.
Yeah, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
So people don't know, because if you know,
they should be charged
you're positive,
with attempted murder.
Seriously, they should, because you don't know how the next person is going to respond.
Yeah.
You don't know how you are going to respond, to be honest, because you don't know. Sometimes you may have an underlying condition that you don't know anything about.
Exactly.
We don't know how this thing is treating anybody because it's so wide and varied. There's so many different presentations to this infection that, there's no hard and fast rule. So your best bet is to boost your immune system, practice your social distancing, wash your hands, do the normal things you do to prevent infection. Wash your hands. This is no regular flu. Wash your hands.
Soap and water.
Be conscientious about that. Soap and water for 30 seconds.
Not antibacterial soap. Regular soap.
Not antibacterial. You get regular soap as long as that friction is happening. That's what you need to get, to wash whatever may be attached to your hands.
And
off.
I say,
so it doesn't have to be antibacterial.
I bring up the antibacterial part of it, because we mentioned that when you mentioned the developing the immune system and getting exposed to certain things as a part of the process, and there are some bacteria that it's important that you get exposed to them so that you can help to build your system. Now you're having antibacterial soap, you have the hand sanitizers that and kills all these germs and whatever. But you don't want to be killing all the germs.
Because your immune system gets to know what this is why with children, you want them to be exposed to stuff. Let them go to school and get sick. It's okay. Because, of course, people are going to say that's irresponsible. No, but really and truly, that's how they build the muscle of their immune system.
Right.
That is how they get it when they first start going to preschool. Everybody knows, every parent knows. You go to preschool and then they bring it home and they give it to you.
Yeah.
Because the parents are just as sick as the children all the time. When they're in preschool, it's crazy. Every other week they're sick, and sometimes they get an infection that just lingers. And they have to fight, but their systems are learning to fight. So you give them the tools, watch their temperature, make sure they're not getting too overheated, monitor that, make sure they're drinking their fluids, getting the fluids in however you can, and keeping them, making sure they get a little bit of rest and eat whatever, give them, make sure their nutrition is on point as best you can, and let it ride. So the problem now with so much of the social distancing with those of us who have developed immune systems is that it's not a problem. The good thing is we're trying to prevent the spread of the infection.
Right.
Because you don't know who is going to have what, and you don't know how your body is going to respond. And if you do get positive, even if you're asymptomatic, you can pass it to someone else who may not have a good round with it.
Exactly.
Right?
Right.
It is a selfless thing to and just to be considerate of your neighbor, to just, try to keep yourself to yourself for a little bit.
Yeah.
Wear your masks. If you're going to be around people, put your mask on. If you're in the same room with them, just put the mask on. When you're in the car by yourself driving, you can take it off, of course. I'm always amazed at that people drive with their mask on. I don't get that. You need to get your oxygen in as best you can.
I see some people
find when I have
exercising
on
with
masks, I can't
masks
breathe
on.
properly.
They're doing their
That's so
morning
hard.
walk or their morning jog and they're wearing a mask, and it's just them. And I'm like,
It's just, bless your heart, because
why?
I can't do that.
What are you doing?
I exercise. I exercise in my garage so that I can do what I wanted in there. I don't have to worry about infecting anybody or anybody infecting me, because I cannot put a mask on to run. I will fall out from hypoxia.
Yeah.
Can't do it, right? Because it's just hard. It's very difficult to breathe with those things on. And doing exercise, it's bad enough to put it on and walk around. It's still hard, but you focus and do what you have to do. But on a 24/7 have it on, that's a problem too. So the trick is to walk the very, very delicate line. So if you're in a group of people, put on the mask. Out in public, put it on. Boost your immune system as best as you can. And how do you do that? If you're not going to be exposed to the antigens to trigger the response, your best bet is to simply boost the immune system. Get your sleep, number one. Get a minimum of 6 to 7 hours. If you can get 8, God bless you. 6 to 7 hours of sleep
Does that
a night,
still exist?
preferably 8. Yeah, it does,
8
it
hours
does.
of sleep.
You try as best you can. Get as close to it, approximate it as best you can. Get some sleep, okay? Stop watching the infernal television. Stop watching it. Stop watching the constant news about COVID, because it is depressing. It is stressful. And when your stress level goes up, guess what happens to your immune function?
It goes out of
It
whack.
goes down. They are converse again. They're conversely proportional. So you cannot be stressed out and think you're going to be boosting your immune system. You can take all the vitamins in the world, and if somebody does blow up on yourself, and you will get sick, literally, because your stress and your immune system is not going to be as functioning as optimally as it should.
Let's touch on that for a little bit, because oftentimes we talk about stress and we focus on us adults and ignore the adolescents and the children. Now, when they get stressed too, they're even more sociable creatures than we are as adults, because play is all that they know. In fact, play is so important because exactly that. It is a significant part of their development. And this is how they learn how to problem solve. This is how they learn to negotiate. This is how, through play. And now, so we've taken play away, and that can be quite stressful on them. Now, let's come back to vitamin, the B12 and the vitamin D. Now, you have already stressed kids because they can't do what kids do, what children do. And you're telling them, time to eat your veggies. Stressing them out even more.
No, man, you have to get creative. You just have to get creative, because this is a new normal.
Yeah.
So as much as we don't like what's happening now, this is the world that we currently live in, and so we adapt or die. This is basically what it's come down to.
And now you have
so
those like Bobby here. Like Bobby says in the stew pot, veggies don't really work for me, or my siblings, or my children. Well, no, he says my children love it. They almost never eat meat.
Well, wonderful. So they're naturally vegetarian. Some children are like that, they're just born with an affinity for vegetables, and they just eat, and that's just their thing.
Yeah.
They're not into meat at all, and then they get older, and then they become very socially conscious, and they have a reason now to not eat meat, and they continue on to become vegetarians or veganazis. But the truth of
earlier in the show, though, we were looking at that, and they tend to have a higher rate of suicide.
So that means eat a burger.
The vegetarians and the vegans.
They're sad and depressed like you. If it's that serious, eat a burger, Bridget. It's not, not gonna kill you. Eat a burger, please, my burger, because I don't want you to kill yourself. I don't want you to be depressed. I don't because here's the deal. Here's the deal.
Yeah.
If you are vegetarian because you have a deep connection, you feel like if you eat the animals, this is so wrong. Because here's my argument.
Mm-hmm.
The plant have feelings too. So if you eat in
Yes.
the plant, you're also killing the plant and taking it from its mother, brother, sister, auntie, uncle. If we're going to take it to that level,
Mm-hmm.
right? So plants do have a mother. Yeah, because if they don't eat anything that has a mother, yeah, they do. They have a mother and a father, and they have siblings, just like we do.
Yeah.
If you're going to take it all the way there, so if whether you're eating a plant or an animal, you're killing something to survive.
Right.
The plant, and the people say, "Oh, the plant is that you're eating living food." Rubbish. From you cut it, it is dead.
It did. Yep.
The minute you cut it from its source, it is dead. So I don't care how much live you want to call it, it is still dead, and you're still killing something so that you can continue to live. So you can color that any way you want to, but
And
to
once you
me, you
consume it,
need
it
to
dies
eat what is
anyway.
nutritional. It dies before once you have disconnected it from its life source, it
Y-
is dead. If it's
Yeah.
not still growing in the earth, it's dead. If you're not chewing on it as it is growing, it is dead. And once you bite it, it is dead.
There you
So
go. So
basically, yes, the politics that oh, we don't eat anything that has a mother, and we just want to eat plants and blah 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 blah. That argument is lost on me. My
right.
grandfather lived to be 103, and he ate a little bit of everything. The only thing he didn't do is he didn't drink, he didn't smoke, and he didn't really eat pork. Although he said whatever his grandchildren made for him to eat, he would eat. But most of his grandchildren didn't eat pork anyway.
Oh, okay.
But
It's
he
the
was,
other
yeah,
white
and,
meat.
and my grandfather was one. Yeah, my grandfather was one weight for all his life. For the whole time I knew him, I never saw him overweight. He always was a man of balance,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a matter of balance. So if you want to eat meat, if you're a vegetarian and it's a struggle, and it's like, oh my God, I don't know what to eat. Oh my God, you go to somebody's house and it's like you're like tearing your hair because they only cook meat and I can't eat anything, and then you become miserable and cantankerous. Well, you might as well eat some meat, buddy. Because
Yeah.
I've seen some really happy people who eat burgers all the time and some really angry vegetarians. Angry
Right.
and, like you said, depressed, high levels of depression because they're not getting good levels of B12, because you have some vegetarians who think that just because you're eating vegetables you're well nutrified, or you're properly your nutrition value is higher just because you are eating only vegetables. No,
But there's not.
the fact is you have to eat that much more of them because they're not as easily bioavailable to you, because plant material is more difficult to break down. So it takes a lot of energy to break down the plant material. Yes, you're going to get the nutrients, but you have to eat so much of it in order to get the same amount that you would get from a cut of meat.
Although you
And
do
that's
have some
reality.
blood types that work better with veggies than the ones that work with meat.
Yes, type A, and again, if you are, whatever your craving is, and pay attention to your body. That is the rule in a man, know yourself. If
Yes.
you know yourself, that's 90% of your battle. Because if you find that when you eat meat, you feel fantastic and you can sail, you can sail, what I'm saying, leap tall buildings in a single bound. You
Yeah,
feel like
Superman
Superman
thing.
when you
Yeah.
eat a burger or some chicken or whatever, and you feel fabulous, and then you eat just those vegetables and you're depressed. For God's sake, eat the meat.
Yeah.
Because how you feel is going to affect how you function. It's going to affect your relationships. It's going to affect your productivity. It's going to affect everything. The way you feel. Feelings are important. So if when you eat salsa vegetables, you're angry all the time, and oh my God, I know I can't, and it's just a chore every time somebody invites you to. Oh, I don't eat that. Oh, I don't eat that. Sometimes they're just really obnoxious. I say, listen, my mother always taught me, you get invited for me. People don't have to cook for you. If they invite you for a meal, whatever they have and they prepare for you, eat it, because they're making it out of love and they've invited you in. To me, it's impolite to go to
Yeah.
somebody's house and they invite and they offer you something and you say no thanks. You can't say, we know how we say, we know where we come from. You go to somebody's house and they offer you, can I have, would you like some so? If you just a cup of water, some juice, say yes, thank you so much, I appreciate it. Because to rebuff them is an insult.
Yeah. In
Right?
some
That's how
cultures,
we're
it's it's
raised.
it's it's a major
It's a
insult.
major insult. You better eat whatever they give you. So if it's dog head, you try eat that piece of dog head that did it.
Yeah. Bless and call it chicken.
Whatever it is, bless it and call it chicken. So if whatever your choice is, I'm not knocking anybody for their choice of what they want to eat.
Yes.
Right? There are just certain things that, yes, you should have more of this in your diet because it's going to help you. But whatever your choice is, make sure that, one, you can live with it comfortably. Two, it does not make you miserable and cranky. Three, it is not laborious. It should not be a strain. It should not be a chore. It should not make you angry and disagreeable and ornery, and nobody wants to be around you. Because I know some really cranky vegetarians, right? And very happy meat eaters. And the converse is true. You have some very cranky meat eaters and then some very happy vegetarians. So you just have to find what works for you. If you want to eat your vegetables all day and that's fabulous for you, go ahead. Usually the type A's are the vegans, vegans and vegetarians. If you are type O and you need to have a side of beef, a whole half of a cow, go for it. If that makes you happy, go for it. Eat it. Whatever it is that is going to lift your mood, elevate you, make you feel better, do that. In balance, be balanced with it. Don't eat the whole cow in one sitting, right? Just have balance. But whatever it is that you eat, bless it, say thank you. Because if I'm very hungry and I'm vegetarian and somebody, I'm starving and on a desert island and somebody cook a curry goat, you better believe I'm whopping up that curry goat.
Yeah, them have to beg me for some.
Right? I'm whopping it up vegetarian. I'm not. So and conversely, if I'm on a desert island and all I'm having some color, what? I'm tearing that up,
right?
Because I have to eat, right? I have to eat something and get some nutrition. But whatever it is your decision is, just make sure you are comfortable with it. You are peaceful with it. It is not a chore. It is not laborious. It does not aggravate you or those around you. Because if you're aggravated eating, the food can't bless you and it cannot be healthy for you.
Yeah.
Won't make you healthy.
Here it is.
Not going to be healthy.
Bobby in the pot again, saying, as a kid, the family spent many weekends and all summer on the farm in the country. I have seen so many animals being killed. Let's not mix up the pain, suffering, and fright that an animal goes through before we kill it with the feeling of callaloo.
Okay, well, them say, I not say heart no leap. If
Right.
you don't see the animal killed, you can eat it with no problem. If I see the animal killed and then you serve it to me, I can't eat it. I can't. Now, I know that they all go through this process at somewhere in the recesses of my mind, but I just shut that down when I have to eat my curry goat.
Yeah, it's not like some people having jerk pork when their pet in the house used to be a pig, you know. Yeah, it's
exactly, and you just kill it right there and eat. I mean, I don't know. Back in the days, because my grandfather was telling me, my grandfather used to tell me how in the country, because they didn't have a lot of refrigeration. They didn't have any really, and so when the cow was killed early on a Saturday morning, it was sheared up for everybody in the community, and they would send this piece for this one, this piece for that family down the road, this piece. So it was shared for everybody, and they had a butchery, they call it, where they would smoke the meat, some of it. So they would smoke it, and that was a preservative. So they would use that in their ackee and whatever, and such, cut a piece and put it in the food, the salt thing they would call it. And then it was cooked and prepared that day, whether it was beef soup or whether it was, beef stew or whatever it was cooked and prepared that day.
Yeah.
So there was no wasting, and whatever was left over was smoked and preserved for a little piece to be put to flavor food. So there was no preservatives in the food at that point, and I guess so they would see the animal, which I know if I saw it, there's no chance of me eating it. But if I don't see it, it's just fine. Then it doesn't really matter. It wouldn't bother. And I'm not a big beef person. Give me my goat. All goats must be correct.
Can I tell you? I had some goat. The last few times I've had goat, this guy in Georgia.
In Georgia, yes.
In Georgia, kill the goat. Bring the meat down to South Florida. I tell you, it's a different meal altogether. Completely
different. The taste, the flavor, the texture, completely different. Because, when somebody's butchering an animal like that, it's from their own farm, there's a certain level of connection. They're going to not just stress out the animal. It's a quick kill so that they don't suffer. Because they don't want the animal to be screaming and suffering and carrying on. It's a quick kill.
The stress hormones end up in the meat.
And they do end up in the meat if the animal is stressed. So, and it's funny, they're not stupid animals, they're intelligent. So if they're on a farm that they know that they're going to be killed, they know, they know when they're going to be killed. And it's funny because I remember there's a rescue farm, I forget the name of it now, but they had this cow that they said she was on the back of the truck being taken to the slaughterhouse, and she jumped out with her baby and ran out, busted out the back of the truck and took off running. And so they kept her. Yeah, because she knew. I guess she lived on the farm long enough and saw the cows being taken away and noticed they don't come back. And she's like, not me, no.
Okay. Yeah.
Her
I
and
get
her
it.
calf, both of them. Yeah, they took off. She ran and the calf ran behind her, and they were gone off that truck. And this farm, this is a rescue farm that rescues animals, like the animals that have been used for either milking or for whatever animal husbandry they're doing. Yeah, they rescue these animals. They have llamas and goats, and they have cows, and they have you know all kind of stuff like
Right.
crazy.
Right.
But they told a story of this cow and her calf. Very interesting that they knew they were going to be killed, and they said she took off. She's like, nope, not me. So they're intelligent. If they know, and the lead up to them being killed, they can tell. So it's not that can be pleasant, and of course they must be stressed. I do think animals have feelings and emotions. So yeah, it's hard. I'd have a hard time with that, but as long as I don't see it, I'm okay. And I'm the only one I eat with. I'm really about my goat and my fish. That's my thing. Chicken, I can take it or leave it, but boy, once a month or every couple of weeks or so, a curry goat must pass my lips. Must.
you know, that's interesting, Bobby, because Bobby is saying, not sure how they do it now, but they used to tie the goat upside down by the legs and then cut the throat.
And burst the throat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could never live on a farm. It is brutal, and while it is, nature is brutal, but I can't. I don't have the temperament to watch that. I can't. If I lived on a farm, I'd swear I'd be vegetarian for real. Just because I couldn't take it. My nerves. I couldn't handle it. I couldn't. I don't want to see it. And there's real life happening on a farm. There's death. There's birth. There's everything.
You're right.
And too much. It's too much for me. I don't listen. I have 2 cats. My cat that passed away, I was distraught for a week.
I remember.
Distraught. Yes. I mean, Spunky was like, I don't know, he was like a person. And I was so distraught with this guy. We had to put him down. And I tell you, I bawled. I couldn't eat. I was stressed out. I couldn't work. It was bad. And people laugh. And that's a supposed no, but that's like your family. When you grow up with them. So for me, growing up with animals and then having them slaughtered like that, there's no way. I remember growing up at Christmas time, my family would get ducks. And of course, they fatten up the duck and everything. And every day you come home and you're feeding the duck. And I'm like, hi, ducky. And the tail gets to wagging. And they talk.
Right.
That's their little way of talking. And I would get to know the ducks, and they were my little friends. And I'd come home from school and feed them and talk to them and play with them. And then when it comes time to kill them Christmas Eve, prepare them for Christmas, who is going to kill them? Not I. I would have to leave the house, like literally. And then when the duck was prepared, I didn't eat it.
Right.
I had none of it. I'm like, no. That was my friend. I can't eat that. I was traumatic.
Well,
I think if I had to grow up on a farm, I'd have to be a vegetarian. I would have been there because
it has to be a vegetable farm.
Yeah, man. It has to be a vegetable because I don't hear the plants crying. And I couldn't. There's no way I could. I know emotionally it would be too much for me. I'm a sap, so I couldn't handle it. But that would be stressful. That would set up my stress level. So I couldn't do it. But we really have to think about how we eat our food and where our food comes from and the level of stress of the animal. So if your animal is stressed out, when you eat the flesh, you're going to be stressed out. You have to start thinking about those sources. So I now I've switched to this private farmer that brings his goat on. If it's not that goat, I don't buy goat. I don't. Or that's the only one that I eat now because I know there's a complete difference in the meat. No joke. It is a completely different flavor.
Right.
So I eat fish. When I get my fish, is wild caught out in the ocean. And the guys go out there on their boat. They catch whatever they catch, clean it up, flash freeze it, bring it home, and I buy it. And that's how I eat my fish. So even the chicken, I don't really fool around it too much because I know the conditions under which they're grown and the conditions under which they're slaughtered, and that is just highly stressful. And I know I'm sensitive to the hormones in the chicken because I pump them up with a lot of hormones too.
Right, you don't really find a lot of free range chickens anymore. And
no,
I know someone that he says his relatives are doing free range chickens, and I was like, yo, hook a brother up. And they're like 3 states away or something. I'm like, listen.
That's all right. Then can ship it.
Yeah.
Ship it on dry ice. We'll buy it.
Exactly.
Because it's worth it. It's worth it. It really is worth it. There was a guy, I remember on this, I think it's Food Inc., the movie, who has a farm with free range pigs and goats and other stuff, and he slaughters them, and people travel to him to buy their meat from miles and miles away. And his matter of fact, I don't know if his number or his information is still available. I'm sure we could find him, but he's too far away for us to travel too, and I don't know that he ships it, but we have to start going back to local farmers now. You have local farmers in West Palm Beach and in Miami-Dade who grow chickens, ducks, goats, whatever, and they're local. I'm sure they'll kill them for you and process them
and prepare them. Yeah,
that's what we have to do, and prepare them. That's what we have to start going back to, because that's a more humane way of killing the animal, and you know that it's going to be fresher with less of the cortisol in the bloodstream than the ones that are in these large conglomerate butchers.
Yeah,
it's just too much. It's too much.
Now, going back to looking at our children and our adolescents with the vitamins, which contribute to their depression or the reduction of it, and especially now in these stressful times.
Get creative.
Recognizing that this bit of stress that these children are having at this stage in their life could lead to something bigger when they become adults. And I don't think we really take the time out to recognize that connection very often.
Yeah, well, you see, what I think we have to start doing is to give them coping strategies early. See, when we were growing up, we didn't have these levels of stress. I didn't know what stress was as a child. I really didn't know.
Yeah.
Well, who knew? Like, what was stress? Stress what? Like, where?
Well, the other thing was that punishment for us was we couldn't go outside.
No, you tell these children they can't go outside. Like, I was trying to go out there. I got my video games in here. They don't want to go outside anyway.
So punishment for them now is send them outside.
It's just send them outside. Completely different. So we have to develop coping strategies for them early on. So things like sending them outside, making outside a fun thing, taking them fishing, taking them to the park, if it's even just your backyard, and turn a sprinkler on and have them jump around in the water in the sun. Whatever it is that you can do, teach them that. Have them gardening. Gardening is a great way to, one, get some exercise, two, teach them about how to with something, growing their own food. They'll be outside getting some physical activity and getting sunlight. So you kill a whole bunch of birds with that one stone by teaching them how to garden. I have two gardens. I have a patio garden, and I have my outside free-range garden where I have to fight with lizard, bird, iguana, all kind of creatures. And then the one protected in the patio, and I don't have to fight with anybody in there. I can grow my tomatoes and my peppers and I have a whole plethora of things back there now. But that for me is so much fun, and being out there in the sun, transplanting, putting this. I've actually I've started grafting a couple things. I'll tell you about those at another show. But I've gone back to my horticultural skills that I learned in high school.
Look at you.
And I've incorporated them into my backyard. Yes, I've been grafting and creating new species of peppers and all these wonderful things. And so
who knew they taught that stuff at
I've become a full-on farmer. Who knew? My son farmer, my husband laugh and say, "Your son farmer, you're going outside, your son farmer, no, you have to get boy chiropractor, you're farmer, no." I said, but the funny thing about it is, my mother did all these things. So it is like, I feel like I've become my mother. So I'm outside with the plants. I talk to them. And I remember going back in my memories as a child, I remember being out in the garden with her. She always watered her plants every other evening when she came home. They're too dry. She's transplanting this. Outside picking fruit. We would go outside and just pick June plum and cherry and mango and coconut. All of this was just in the backyard. There was always some bush. I mean, I have to send you a picture of my patio. The outside, it has become a mini, what is that place? Like a fern gully.
Really?
I have outside the patio, the screen patio, I have a yam bush that is just running wild, which has now created a beautiful canopy. And it is along the bush. And mixed in with that is some cerasee, just growing wild. I have to send you the pictures. It's crazy.
Wow.
You guys have to come over. You have to come over and see, because it is just a work of art. It is like, look at nature, look at God, look at creation. This is just beautiful.
Yeah,
And
I'm
I
way
refuse to
overdue
touch it.
for a visit.
When
I
the
will
guys,
come.
yes, you need to. When the guys come to cut, I'm out there like on them like a like a mad dog. Do not cut my bushes.
Right.
So yes, I go off on them so they know when they come around my yard, they're very gentle and circumspect, and they're detailed to their little detailing, and they're all right, ma'am. Thank you. Have a good day. Yes, please don't cut up my stuff. But getting the kids out into the garden and learning, get their hands in the dirt,
Mm-hmm.
planting and watching it grow, caring for it. I mean, those are skills that they need to learn anyway, and it gets them outside. It learns them. It teaches them responsibility, and they learn some valuable life skills. Growing your own food. No, it doesn't get better than that. So we have to just teach them coping skills. Getting out there in the dirt, putting your hands in the dirt. There's something about being grounded. Getting your feet walking
Yes.
in the dirt, putting your hands in the dirt. There's something to be said for that. There's a
The free
spiritual connection to
ions.
the earth that we all have, that there's something about putting your hands in it and your feet in it that just makes you feel like,
Yeah,
this
it
this
is a
is home, this
grounding
is good.
to the ions that are
Yes, that are already in your body.
free and running around
Everything that's in
causing
there.
problems, throwing off your magnetic flow, your energy flow, because
Yes,
we forget
yes,
that we're energy.
yes,
Our
absolutely.
our nerves, or the way how we twitch, things that we do, it's all electrical impulses being sent from the brain through the spine to various parts
Through
of
the
the
spine
body.
to the nerve.
And
Exactly.
we forget about that aspect of ourselves. So
Mhm.
the whole idea of grounding, because even
Mhm.
those electricians and those who know a little bit about circuits, they will have an understanding of it.
You have to
But when you
ground.
apply that
Yeah, if you
to
don't
the
ground,
human,
if you don't ground a circuit, it will burn itself out.
right?
You have
And
to
it's as
have
simple as that.
grounding. And the same thing happens with us. We burn our circuits out when we don't have that grounding, that firm foundation. So you get outside in that dirt, and I promise you, that's therapeutic for children as well. It's therapeutic for adults. It's therapeutic for me. That's my therapy. I go out there and plant stuff because I don't want to go crazy.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to go crazy with this time. I mean, this is a time that, a lot of people are losing their proverbial shit, excuse my French.
Yeah.
But it is getting a little, you're short tempered, you're short with your spouse, you're short with the children because there's an overriding
You shot with
feeling of stress.
yourself.
You're short with yourself. It is a very stressful time, and because we're, especially if you're an empath and an empathic person, you're picking up on the vibes of everybody else around you, and
Yes.
there's a general stress that is on the planet, a heaviness of everybody because this thing reaches everybody, and so there's a general stress in the air. There's that energy that is out there that is very nervous, very anxious, heavy, stressful, worrisome, and it's heavy. And so
Right.
you have to find a way to dissipate that. And I'll never forget, I have a professor in chiropractic school who when I was in student clinic, I first started treating patients. I remember I was like, Dr. Montgomery, I'll never forget him. I said, Dr. Montgomery, I have to talk to you. I said, because I'm having a problem. If a patient comes in with a headache, I treat them, I adjust them, I get a headache. They come in with back pain, I treat their back pain. I'm treating them. My back starts to hurt later. They come in for a bad knee. I have a bad knee. I have a knee pain. I like, this is ridiculous. And he said, well, you're an empath. You're a receiver. You're probably one of the best kinds of healers around because you feel people's pain. He said, but you have to find a way to fix that. And so the best way to do that is to get a plan. And I never forget, every office I have worked in, I've always made sure that there's a plan there. And so he said, once you're finished with a patient, especially one of those heavy-duty ones that a lot of issues, whether emotional, physical, or whatever, put your hand in that dirt. He said, you're going to probably kill quite a few plants, but because that energy transfers to you, whatever they're feeling, it transfers to you. You take it on. And you
Right.
take it on in such a way that it starts to affect you physically. So I had to get my plant, and after the particularly rough patients, dip my hand in that dirt and then go wash it. And I'd get some lavender oil, essential oil, to just keep it in my pocket and just sniff to kind of calm my energy down. And I would have to do that on a regular basis. And so it's the same thing. We're feeling a lot of this collective angst and stress and foreboding and, oh my God, are we going to be sick? Are we going to die? Like all of that is, and the children are feeling it. Everybody is feeling it. So you have to find ways to manage it. And for the children, get them outside, get them in the air, get them in the fresh air, get them out away from the computers. I know where everything is going online, but get them outside. Make them work in the garden. Make them create their own little patch and grow their stuff. Everybody has their own little patch. This is what you're going to plant here, and you have to tend to it and make sure it grows. And if it doesn't grow, figure out why. Why is this not happening? Did you compost? Did you water today? What is happening with your plants? Talk to them. Do you talk to them? Do you encourage them to grow? Do you play music for them? Like, I get real deep with my plants. And so they're just like,
Big dance.
And I think my mother
Big dance on the patio.
Oh, what do you mean? Yeah, man, big dance on the patio. I have music. I have a water fountain. I have a water fountain out there with a fogger. I go out there and play music. I'm talking to them. I mean, I talk to my mom. I think my mom is out there kissing them at night because they just grow like, whoa. Like everything has just exploded. It's just growing like crazy. I should show you I've sent you the picture of the tomatoes and the peppers and the what do you call it?
No, don't send me the picture. I'll come over.
Fever grass, rosemary, Thai basil, okra.
Oh, jeez.
I have peppermint, spearmint. I have spearmint. I have lavender. I have all kinds of things growing back there. So that is my therapy. So I go out there, talk to my plants. I play music for them. I don't listen to them. I mean, they don't talk, but
But you connect. You connect. You do
like
connect.
A tree hugger.
Yes.
But you connect with the earth, and that is an important part of, I think, or humanity that we've forgotten. And so get the children involved in it, and that will certainly help their mood and get them moving.
Especially now that they don't have school to go to and to be moving from class to class. And even when they were in school, though, with the reduction of recess or the elimination of recess,
Yeah, they're not playing. They're not getting any activity. So we need to reinstitute that by having them go outside. And then just, play hide and seek. Hello? Run around. Play something. Do something. Because they really and truly are not as physically active as we were.
Yeah. You mentioned having the plant in every office that you've been in. I wonder what Althea does. She, as a massage therapist that goes to her clients, I wonder what her grounding method is.
So she has to have some. It would be interesting to find out from her because I guarantee she has one. Because most people in these kinds of professions, and the healthcare professions where it involves a lot of touch, chiropractors, physical therapists, massage therapists, some occupational therapists, Reiki masters, anybody that has to put their hands on people, usually are empty, right? You already have that kind of personality to begin with. And then if you are taking on the pain and stress of your clients, because if you get involved with them at some point, you're going to know, they talk to you and they're going to just unload sometimes their stresses. There were patients who come to me sometimes and they're back, oh my God, doc, my back is killing me. And they'd sit and I go to adjust them and I'd have to jump, like I could feel the tension before I even touched their spine.
Yeah.
And I jump back and I go, okay, and I'd sit down, I tell them, sit up. Okay, what's going on today? And invariably, they would break into tears or they would, oh my God, you have no idea. And they would go off on a tirade. It would be either they'd fall out crying, or they would be close to crying and just stressed about something and tell me all about it, have a verbal diarrhea about what the problem was. And they'd talk, I'd let them talk, I'd listen, and then I go, okay, that's your adjustment today. Have a good day. Bye. Right. And they'd be like, and I say, get up. I'd say, get up. And they would think they got adjusted, and they would get up and go, oh, doc, my back feeling better, and I'm laughing inside going,
right,
baby, this you needed an adjustment above Atlas. This isn't a spinal thing. This is a mental thing.
Yeah.
This is a heart issue. And I don't mean heart as in your heart is malfunctioning physiologically, but it's an emotional thing.
Right.
So, a lot of times that because our body, there is a psycho, physio, socio, emotional, and psychological. Did I throw all of them in there?
I think you did.
Aspect to every single disease process, every single one. There's an emotional component. There's a physical component. So you're stressed out. You start to feel it wear. Your shoulders start to tighten up. And then what happens? You get heart palpitations. You get anxiety attacks. Your GI doesn't function well. You're not digesting food.
Right.
You don't have a sex drive. You're not having sex anymore. It is, there's so many components to this thing. So at any given moment, if you can tap into the root cause, the main reason why we're having these manifestations, which is usually it starts emotionally. There's some stressor, some emotional stressor, and then it starts to manifest in the physical body. So they would sit and talk and get it out, and then they get up and go, oh, yeah, boy, I feel better, doc. All right, thanks, bye. And I'm laughing to myself, like, you thought you got an adjustment today. And they're like, well, what do I owe you today? And I'd be like, yeah, I didn't adjust it today. It's all right. That one's on me. And I go, no, but I have to pay for the no. And I go, no, I can't even charge you today because, this was just a rap session. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all right. And then when they leave, I go dip my hand in the dirt and wash them and put my lavender oil on and be good. It's
right.
Do meditation or something, or play my singing bowls and get my mind together. Like you have to have some method to deflect that energy off of you because you start to absorb it. So yeah, it's something that you really, really have to consciously think about and encourage people to sometimes just let go, whatever that mental piece is, whatever that is a significant part of their health and their physical manifestations. A lot of the pains and aches and such come from a mental place or an emotional place. To deal with that, and very often you've handled one part of it, not the whole thing, because there are usually some physiological things there or physical things that you have to deal with. Yes, but sometimes this one part of it, hit one part of it today, and then we come back to the next visit, we can deal with the other part. Because even if I were to attempt to adjust them with all that mental stuff going on, there's no way the body would even receive it. And one of my instructors always told me, an adjustment is an agreement between two people. You agree to move the bone and realign it to its proper position, and their body has to agree to accept that force,
right,
and put the bone back where it's supposed to go. So I can't force an adjustment on a patient. And if I feel like if my adjustment is going to rebound today, we're not even going to waste the time. Not even. Yeah, because it's a deep thing. It's not just popping away at somebody's back there or crack. It's way deeper than that.
Yeah,
way deeper than that.
And one of my very first experiences with a chiropractor was more of a learning experience than a physical adjustment.
Yeah, it's an education. You
Yeah.
have to educate you first what's really happening. That the nervous system, I just taught a class on that tonight. The nervous system is what animates you, what allows you to experience the universe and the universe to experience you. And so that is what animates you and gives you life. And so that system is critical to your survival, and that to the extent that it is free and clear of interferences and free and clear of disruptions to those electrical impulses passing is the extent to which you can be healthy.
Right.
Really and truly. Sounds basic, but it's so true and it's so real. So yeah, we don't cure diseases with chiropractic care, but we certainly do help you. That helps to because the stresses are going to manifest themselves now in aches and pains. I tell you, more aches and pains now than ever before.
Yes.
Ever before. Like everybody's hurting. Like, oh my God, my back. Because what? You're sitting more now because you're not getting up and moving around. You're watching TV. You're sitting around. You're stressed out. You're stress eating. So everybody's gained at least 10 pounds in this
Not to mention the ones working from home. You
Hello.
get up out of
and all you want to
your
do
bed.
is cook and eat.
Yeah, you get up out of your bed and you take 2 steps and now you're at work.
Yes, and then you want so there's no separation anymore, and it's like work, home, work. I don't know. I can't. Yeah, there's a lot of
Right.
real anxiety happening because of this massive shift now from our usual regular lives to this new normal of I call it the it's BC. No, BC. There's before COVID and after COVID. BC and AC.
Oh,
We're not
okay.
AD anymore. Not BC and AD, BC and AC, before COVID and after COVID.
Oh, that wasn't the
That's
BC I was thinking of when you mentioned BC.
Well, that's one thing. We're including that one thing. Because it's BC. I'm BC, AC. Oh my God! And those non-Jamaicans who are listening, we'll translate for you at another time.
Yeah, another time. That's another show.
Another time. That's a different show. That's another show.
Now, Dr. J-Luv,
That's another show.
I thank you. I'm gonna have a good musical therapy tonight. I do thank you.
Yes,
I do
you're
need
welcome,
to
my dear.
bring you on to talk about Woman's Nest.
Okay.
And we need to make arrangements to have that happen. And you even
Yeah.
touched on aspects of it as you were talking about the importance of vitamins B12 and D as it relates
Mm-hmm.
to addressing depression. You touched
Female
on
issues of
aspects of it
depression.
earlier, and you touched on female
Mm-hmm.
issues, and so
Mm-hmm.
to get more specific,
Yes.
so I do need to bring you on to talk about that.
Yes, most
Um,
definitely. What next week is what date? The 15th? I can't do
next
it on that date.
next week is the 14th.
No, I think I'm going to be running out of town that week. Maybe I can. We'll talk about it later in the week and see.
We'll
If
work
not
it
next
out.
week, the week after, definitely. We'll work it out. But yeah, Woman's Nest is jumping. It is. I so many women reaching out to me who are going through some of the same issues that I went through. And your test is your testimony. And you go through what you go through so that you can help somebody else who may not have the strength or may not have the support system or
Hmm.
may not just have the access to the information to help themselves get better. And so that is my mission. I've gone through some crazy stuff in my female innards that have allowed me now being on the other side, well, partially on the other side of it because there's still some issues, but
Right.
now having worked through them and being able to say, okay, this is what I did and this is what worked and this helps me. It may help you try it. It's not a be all and end all, but it certainly is helpful. And I'm telling you, there's some serious, serious issues that women have as they go through traverse this life, just trying to make it through and have with some of the issues that they're having that are physical, that end up causing emotional, social, mental, sexual issues that
Hmm.
they have a hard time even talking about. We tend to just not mention it because you don't get up and go, hey, how was your period this month? Did you have a heavy one? Did you have a lot of cuts? That's not a regular
Right.
dining
Right.
room
Right. Right.
conversation. Nobody gets up and talks about those things. It's just you suffer in silence. And it's unfortunate because, when it's a problem for men with erectile dysfunction, they have ads on TV, buy this pill, take this, do this, go to this doctor, go here. But when it comes to dealing with female issues, it is just tucked under the rug and it's so quiet and hush hush and nobody wants to talk about it. But these issues are real.
Yeah.
And there, again, is a psychological, a mental, a social, a physical, emotional, and spiritual component to our issues as women, and in particular, there's black women, so women of color.
I think it's super
So,
important for us men also.
yeah, to understand what
Yes.
we're dealing with. And so when your woman does this, please understand it is not sometimes an attack on you. It is her
Only
just trying to
sometimes.
find her own way. Only some yeah, because some foolishness sometimes, but still, we love her anyway. But there sometimes it is her just trying to make it through her own struggle, her own physicality, and making sense of what's happening with her, and still trying to be able to cope and behave as if everything is normal. It's a struggle. It's a lot to cope with, and we wear it well. We handle our stress well, but it manifests in other ways. And I'll never forget. There was a lady, one of my mom's friends. Her husband was very abusive,
Hmm.
and he died. She got breast cancer. I notice a lot of women who keep things to their chest. They're very quiet. They suffer in silence and keep things in their heart, and they end up with breast
Breast
cancer,
cancer.
high rate of breast cancer because you keep these things in your chest. This is where it builds up, and so it manifests itself as breast cancer. The women who in my mother's cohort who died from breast cancer, I can put my finger on it. The ones of them that I knew and knew some of their personal situations, just from eavesdropping on conversations when you're growing up.
Right.
They all of them, bar none, had some serious emotional issues that they were fighting with their significant others, and it manifested itself as this thing,
Mm.
you know. and it put them out of here. So we need to, and because again, we suffer in silence and suffer in darkness, and we don't talk about our issues. It's a cultural thing. It really is. It's an island thing. It's an African tradition. We just don't talk about certain things. They have that saying, "Not everything good for eat, good for talk."
Yeah.
And so we don't talk, and then we internalize, and it manifests itself in our physical bodies and in our relationships and our interactions with people. So yeah, the woman's is a movement, much like
we're changing the narrative.
It's a movement. Yeah, we have to change the narrative now because it is critical, and it is time for the divine feminine to rise. Men have been ruling the world for a long time, and we see the state that it is.
Yeah, it would have been awesome if we had we had thought about it from before. So that would be the follow-up to the show that we had last night. Where
last night, right?
Here it is,
you
have this woman rising up to say, hey, listen, I know this is a male-dominated thing, but this is beyond that.
It's time for some feminine energy. Yeah, really, look at the countries in the world today who've got their COVID numbers under control. Two of the top countries that have their COVID numbers manageable levels: Germany and New Zealand. Who's leading those countries? Don't talk. They have female heads of state.
I didn't even connect that data until just now.
Yo, okay, yeah. You still may talk about, because the women say, no man. So that feminine energy says, no, we have to deal with this and deal with this now. Because the man says, no man, this is an idiot thing. We can just fight it and good and blah, blah, blah. Not to say that all of the men who are leading countries are being, bogart about it.
Right.
But because look at Canada. Canada's rates are significantly low, and their president, of course, he's kind of cute. Trudeau is, whoo, yes, Lord.
And
if I was not a married woman.
And across the Caribbean.
Same thing. But again, because we depend on tourism in the island. We have to make sure that our borders can open so that people can come and visit. Now, mind you, we have to be careful with that because we get things under control and then we'll open it up and then bam, the numbers are going to start going up again. But listen, have you seen the COVID tracker system in Jamaica? Did you see the video of the couple that went to Jamaica to visit? Off the heat. I'm talking first world level.
Yes.
That couple said they feel safer in Jamaica than they do in the United States.
Yes.
They want to stay there.
In fact, just going through the airport.
Yes, serious. People spraying down, wiping, covering surfaces. I mean, it is not a joke. There's social distancing in the airport. It is not. They're testing you right there. You get tested when you land.
Yep.
They're not in games in Jamaica. And I'm sure
and you're tracked.
All the other Caribbean islands are going to do the same thing. And they're tracking you. So much so the GPS tracker on her phone when she was driving, because she was going from she flew into Montego Bay. And they were driving to Kingston. Yep. And the phone, when they were driving across the border.
Where are you going?
St. James. Bing, 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 bing. Where you going? You need to check in because we don't have the results yet. What's going on?
Yeah.
So they're being tracked. So I'm telling you, the system there is out of control. It's amazing. And I'm so proud of Jamaica. And all the Caribbean islands are going to be doing the same thing, tracking, because they know, again, tourism is a big thing. So they have to make sure that they have the infrastructure in place so that when the visitors return en masse, they have a way to track and make sure that, they're controlling any potential spread of this virus. So very proud of my people. Very proud of my people.
Very
proud. Very much so. But yeah, man, so we have to, we'll talk about this thing again. It's a movement.
Yes.
And we're empowering our divine feminine to take our place. We've been subjugated, and it's just because of reckless, toxic masculinity that we just need to temper. It's not bad to be masculine, It's the toxic masculinity is what needs to go.
Mm-hmm,
where it skews the vision and skews the thought processes and such the decision making of the men who are in positions of leadership and power.
It upsets the balance.
Yeah, but we're not homeostatic at all. There's no homeostasis. And without that balance, it is adapt or die. Homeostasis means balance. You adapt. You're able to move and shake. You can pick and move. You understand? You bob and weave, and you manage. But without that homeostasis, it is adapt or die. Those are your options. We can't afford to die now, so we have to adapt.
That's right.
And to adapt, we have to cultivate that feminine energy and respect it. Put it back in its place of honor and respect, and allow women to start making some major decisions for our planet, because this is going to be the saving grace of this planet. I guarantee you.
I'm not one to argue that point at all.
No, because you're an ascended male. You have some sense.
You're the second person to say that to me this week.
Yeah, see? Yeah, man. And
it's only
you're
day
aware,
2.
and that's the first thing. See? Yeah. But that's the first step in the process is the awareness.
Yes.
The awareness that clearly, men have done some damage to our psyche and our emotional, global, universal psyche, and some healing has to be done, and we need to bring the feminine in.
And there's no, I don't see that there's much of a way to fight it a whole lot longer.
Yeah, there needs to just be, and you can see even with the men in power who have been arrested, who have been put in jail for, sexual abuse and those kind of, that is unheard of. 10 years ago, that would have been unheard of. You'd have never, ever seen a Bill Cosby, Harvey Epstein. What's this other guy I know who killed himself supposedly?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Him.
Yeah, I can't keep track anymore. Him. His lady, his cohort has now been arrested in New Hampshire, and I'm hoping. I don't know if she's going to survive this, because she may have an accident. This is what I'm thinking, because boy, she has the secret. She has the dirt. She has the drop on everybody. So if she starts singing, boy, it's going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah.
It's going to be bad. So they're going to have to find a way to shut her up or just make her disappear some kind of way, give her a deal, something. I don't know what they're going to do. But I don't see her surviving. And if she does, she would have to, they'd have to make some kind of massive deal with her, because she knows all the secrets. She was there.
Well, let's see how it goes down. But until then.
Yeah.
Until then. Thank you, Dr. J-Luv. Always a pleasure.
Anytime, love.
This is your show. I just hold it down for you until you can be here. So.
Anytime, my love. Always a pleasure. Whenever I can join in, I do appreciate it. I always will jump in. Not a problem at all.
All right. You take care. Get some rest.
Thank you, my dear. You do the same. And don't forget to come by and check out the tomatoes and peppers and such.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Here it is before you go. In the stew pot, they'll find a way to wipe her out, because a lot of bigwigs are involved.
A lot. Big names. Big names. I mean, the House of Windsor, presidents. I mean, everybody's up in this mix. So I feel for her. I really do. I mean, I know she's not the nicest person considering what she did and was complicit in, but oh dear. It's gonna be a mess. It's gonna be a mess.
Grab your popcorn.
Yo, popcorn and my wine. I'm ready. All right, my dear. Take care. Have a good night. All the best to everybody. Take care. Stay safe.
All right. Musical therapy time, but I'm going to take a quick little break before I do that. And we come back and close out some musical therapy. We'll be right back.
Pulsey Media Group, innovative streaming and recording, has done it again. A new way to get your business in full view of your neighborhood consumer through AdShare TV. It's available in your neighborhood today. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. Become a host today and place a TV monitor in a strategic location so it's easy to see. Get a 1-minute video ad or longer that plays anywhere in our network. Can't be a host? No problem. For a few dollars, we'll run your 30-second video ad. A host can run announcement specials like buy one get one free or discount ads. Let's turn your flyers into a 30-second video with music or a voiceover, or let us create and run your video ad with a spokesperson. Take advantage of our early enrollment discount. Join us today. Your ad will be seen at least 30 times per day in your AdShare TV neighborhood. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. AdShare TV, part of Pulsing Media Group.
I'm Khalib Thompson.
And I'm David Muir.
And we are the co-founders of a cultural nonprofit in Florida called Island Space.
For many reasons, now more than ever, we need the support of our communities.
As Caribbean Americans, we have the unique ability to claim everyone from the island as members of our Caribbean American family.
We are working to create a home for that family.
The Island Archives will become an internationally recognized museum of history.
Visitors can learn that although we are unique, we are truly stronger together.
Learn more at islandspacefl.org.
It takes an entire village to raise a child. Hello, I'm Paul Campbell, here to talk about Palace. Peace and Love Academic Scholarship. This nonprofit group supports students facing serious obstacles from entering or continuing their studies, not because the grades are failing, but due to the lack of financial support.
Over the past 8 years, Palace has awarded 600 scholarships valued at approximately 50.3 million Jamaican dollars, or 415,000 US dollars.
Together, we must build a better future for our children. Please visit www.palace1.org and make your donation to brighten the future of a deserving child. Palace, preserving young minds for posterity.
It's Christine representing for DJ Kevin. You see me, I say, I don't know the boss. You see me, I say, DJ Kevin Stew and the night shift radio show. Yo, it at the thing, turn up the thing loud. Whoa, DJ Kevin Stew have the heart of a champion. Never underestimate, just choose him. The silver line behind the dark clouds. DJ Kevin Stew believe him, and that's no doubt. Salute the night shift radio show, Christine. It's a hot it up. Loud.
We're closing out the night. Only have about 15 minutes of musical therapy to do. But I want to say thank you to my segment sponsors, Althea and her Healing Heavenly Hands. Thank you, Althea. SU is a licensed massage therapist that comes to you. She operates out of Broad County, North Miami-Dade, South Palm Beach counties. Give her a call, 954-655-9000. With increased numbers of COVID cases, we don't know how it's gonna go, so just call her and see how she can work with you, or you can email her also at thealater@att.net. And big ups to Reggae Global Entertainment. Thank you for sponsoring also the third segment. They can act as your booking agents, take care of your tour management, your business registrations, your copyrights, your publishings, your legal contracts, your trademarks, and so much more. They're excellent with marketing and promotion too. Give them a call, 954-998-8034, or visit them at reggaeglobalentertainment.com. And of course, the sponsors for this segment, our musical therapy segment, GMAT Music Solutions. They bring your event to life. They provide sound, light, stage production services, musical equipment, PA systems, audio engineers, DJs, bands, singers, and so much more. Give them a call, 754-307-4622. That's 754-307-GMAC. Or you can visit them at gmac.musicsolutions.com. And you can also do your online shopping there. Kicking it off a little storm. Yeah, I was gonna say the real storm, which is what she goes by. The track is called Ital. Right now, the real storm is recovering from hurting her back while at work. Sending up some prayers for fast recovery for her.
Anything we need, me now to search because you have it. Long conversations in the night, yo. Talking about things that we didn't do. You understand all that I've been through. There's no pretending when I'm with you. Gonna love you, gonna make you mine. Don't give me the eye, don't love my baby, facing on the data line. Take my watch, I give you all my time. This kind of meditation's hard to find. I'm gonna love you, gonna make you mine. You consecrate me nature when you saturate my endocrine. So only you can cross, I wanna line. Your love is so celestial, so divine. Run every call, I run every beater. Me block them and delete, sir. Are you alone, me wanting on me personal diameter. Not to your nice and not to your neater. You're firing, not to your sweeter. I wanna be your empress, wanna be your senorita. Give me a paper, give me a lighter. Or make me blaze the pipe. You tell me you need me like some artist and you really need a writer. You want the cook with in me salsa, the mineral in me water. I know that touch made you, I adjust for me. Gonna love you, gonna make you mine. You give me the eye, you love for every face in all the data line. Take my watch, I give you all my time. This kind of meditation's hard to find. I'm gonna love you, gonna make you mine. You consecrate me nature when you saturate my endocrine. So only you can cross, I wanna line. Your love is so celestial, so divine. When you hold me in your arms and then you put on the pressure. Body's integrating in pleasure. You whisper in my ears and make we do this forever. Can we claim the eyes and face below them together? Oh gosh, I'm longing for you. Are you longing for me? I see in your eyes that you want me to stay. Wrapped up in your arms and the liquor spatter. Run away, run away, run away, baby. Gonna love you, gonna make you mine. Don't give me the eye, one up my baby, facing on the data line. Take my watch, I give you all my time. This kind of meditation's hard to find. I'm gonna love you, gonna make you mine. You consecrate me nature when you saturate my endocrine. So only you can cross, I wanna line. Your love is so celestial, so divine. Gonna love you, gonna make you mine. You give me the eyes out of my baby, facing on the data line. Take my watch, I give you all my time. This kind of meditation's hard to find. I'm gonna love you, gonna make you mine. You consecrate me nature when you saturate my endocrine. So only you can cross, I wanna line. Your love is so celestial, so divine.
I just can't stand the pain.
This is Eva G.
I wanna be a lover.
It's called Pretty Lady.
But all I tried, it was just in vain. Right now, so pretty lady, I want you in my life. Won't you please forget the fight? By your side, I wanna be.
Sugar Lips.
Sugar lips, sugar lips. I want you to be mine. Sugar, sugar lips.
That's the one that gives you diabetes right there.
Yeah. The first time we met, girl, it felt like magic. Now thinking of you gives me a rush every minute. Can't wait to hold you, baby, in my arms. But feel your sweet caress, your tender charm. Now my sweet dreams are reality. You fill my cup and it was empty, baby. Sugar lips, sugar lips. Your kiss is sweet all the time. Sugar lips, sugar lips. Once it tastes like wine. Sugar lips, sugar lips. Girl, I want you to be mine. My sugar, sugar lips, sugar baby, sugar. Yeah. If I should lose you now, girl, it could be tragic. Cause your laughter and your smile I couldn't do without it. Cause you're the angel I was meant to love, the one that I've been dreaming of. Now my sweet dreams turn reality. You filled my cup and it was empty, baby. Sugar lips, sugar lips. Your kiss is sweet all the time. Sugar lips, sugar lips. Once it tastes like wine. Sugar lips, sugar lips. Girl, I want you to be mine. Sugar, sugar lips, sugar baby, sugar. Yeah, sugar lips. Oh, sugar lips. I will bless the Lord at all times. I will praise. When I think of all the good He's done and consider His ways, mercy's pouring down like rain, and I'm flooded by grace.
This is the sound of the dazzling one,
Because of
Shauna Dazzle.
done, His love remains the same, so I sing, hey.
It's called Glorious.
Oh, well,
This is how we're gonna bounce on out of here tonight.
to testify, may they know the power and might of your glorious name. May the
I
whole
want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in.
they come to testify, may they know the power and might of your glorious name. I cannot believe your name.
Remember to join me tomorrow
Not to give you praise.
as we close out the night shift week with Real Talk Wednesday,
Then I
also known as Marlon's favorite night shift show.
don't want it to stop when Kevin Stew play. You know, say night shift, I do it, and you know me not leave it. Kevin, this one's for you. Big up yourself, Shauna Dazzle says so. Ooh,
Thank you, Shauna. Truly appreciate it. Shauna Dazzle, one of the 3 members of SBS Sensational Dynamic Sound, along with Dottie and Suzanne Sultry.
Think of all the good He's done and consider His ways. Mercy's pouring down like rain, and I'm flooded by grace. And not because of any good I've done, His love remains the same. So I say, may the whole world see the light. May they come to testify. May they know the power and might of your glorious name. May the whole world see the light. May they come to testify. May they know the power and might of your glorious name. I cannot believe your name. I cannot but give you praise. I know where I could be now, so I stand unashamed.
Good morning, good afternoon, good day to you wherever you are in the world.
Down in spite of evil.
from right here in South Florida. I bid you a good night. Take care of yourselves until we hang out again.
The whole world see the light. May they come to testify.
Do take care of yourselves. Get that vitamin B12 and vitamin D in there. It'll definitely help to brighten your day.
May they know the power and might of your glorious name. Whoa. From the bullets of a gun. Remember you gave me faith when my strength was less than great. You know God, you were never late. God, I know you're on my side. You have shown up every time, my God. So I had to pen this tune, cause where would I be without you? Hey, may the whole world see the light. May they come to testify. Of your glorious name. Oh,
Greetings and salutations, one and all. You're invited to tune in to the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The night shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.